Have you ever gone to donate blood at a blood drive, and when you're given a sugary beverage and a cookie afterwards, like maybe a big cup of orange juice and a nice chocolate chip cookie, have you wondered why? What was the purpose of that? I was wondering why, so I Googled it. And a very common response that I saw in the search results was that the food was meant to replace the sugar that you lost because you gave some blood and blood has sugar in it, so you lost that sugar from your bloodstream and you needed to consume a high amount of sugar to replace that sugar that you lost during the blood draw. So I thought to myself, well, perhaps we could do a very simple calculation to check if that's a believable statement or not. So the first question would be, well, how much sugar do you need to eat to replace what you lost during the blood donation? So we need to figure out how much sugar one actually loses, how much blood sugar is lost when a typical amount of blood is drawn, as would be done at a blood drive. Well, typically about a pint of blood is taken, which is about a half of a liter. So next we need to know what was the concentration of blood, or what was the concentration of sugar in that blood that was taken. Well, the concentration of sugar or glucose in the bloodstream of a reasonably healthy person is around about 5.5 millimolar, which would be units that are used in many places throughout the world, or in the US. We would say clinically that a typical blood glucose level is 100 milligrams per deciliter. 100 milligrams per deciliter is 1 gram per liter. So there's 1 gram per liter of sugar in blood. So now we got to ask, how much blood glucose do you lose while giving that half a liter of blood? Well, if we take a half a liter times 1 gram per liter of the typical blood sugar concentration, we get the answer of 0.5 grams, or a half a gram of sugar was lost. So that's the equivalent of 2 calories. If we were to consume a half a gram of sugar, we'd be consuming 2 calories. So we did not lose a big amount of calories from that blood sugar that was lost. So when we're given a big cup of orange juice and a nice cookie, well, maybe we didn't really need all of that to replace a half a gram of sugar. So what would be food items that we could eat to replace a half a gram of sugar? Well, a jelly bean would be more than enough to replace a half a gram of blood sugar that was lost, a single jelly bean that is. Or 1 to 2 chocolate chips would be enough to replace that sugar. Not an entire chocolate chip cookie, but maybe just a nibble off the edge of that cookie, or just removing 1 or 2 chocolate chips from that cookie would be enough to replace the blood sugar. Or a very, very small sip, maybe around 5 milliliters, or which would be about a fifth or a sixth of an ounce of that orange juice could be consumed to replace a half a gram of blood sugar. So why do they give you a big cup of orange juice and a cookie? I'm not sure. Maybe it's a tradition. Maybe it's for a morale boost, but it clearly is not to replace that sugar that was lost from the donation of about a half a liter of blood.